and welcome to the new session today on Economics Chit Chat, where we are going to talk about the healthcare economics. Now, yesterday we were speaking about what is the cost of information when it comes to economics. Today we are going to speak about the cost of healthcare in economics. Probably healthcare is one section or one sector in economics where I would say people have not spent much of time. Because if you look at any other sector, be it banking, manufacturing, or it might be related to agriculture or services industry, there's a lot of picture written about it. There are a lot of articles that have been produced about it. But when you talk about healthcare sector, people think it's all about medical science. It's something Latin and Greek for me, so I would not spend much of my time onto that. But then, if you understand, healthcare is one sector in the entire Indian economy where a huge amount of money is invested year on year. The only problem is that people don't understand it. People find it's not for me. I'm not concerned. I'm hale and healthy, so why should I be really bothered about that? But if you look at the realistic picture of the healthcare economics, you would be surprised to find out the amount of time, money and energy that has gone inside in terms of understanding those little factors. Now, let us go into a simple question and a simple factor altogether. Now, that question is, how much do you spend every year for your insurance, for your family, for yourself? How much do you spend? Now, roughly, for an example, let's say that we spend about 50,000 rupees per year towards your insurance to cover yourself and your family for an X amount of money. Now, let's say that that insurance cover is for 20 years. That means you would have invested 10 lakh rupees of your income into insurance sector. Now, are you going to claim all the 10 lakhs? Are you going to get back the entire money with the interest? These are all subject to the situation. God forbid nothing happens to you and to your family. So what happens to the 10 lakhs? The 10 lakhs is just an accumulated amount by the insurance company who will be enjoying the interest by investing it in different sections of the market. So healthcare is one sector where you see there's a corpus of fund. There's a huge amount of fund that is located with all the insurance companies. Most of the insurance companies try to lure the investors. They try to take the investors in their hand. They say to the consumers that some story about your health. They want money through investment from your side. So what they come back and tell you is a nice story, a nice picture, which makes you feel afraid that something can happen to you tomorrow. Automatically everybody starts getting excited on this factor and they just want to increase their insurance cover, so they keep on investing money into this insurance companies. But if you look through a man's life, normally the 20 years, that is starting from 30 to 50, if you have invested, you do not get into any serious consequences on an average basis, on a normal basis, unless and until something bad really happens in your life. So now what happens is that from every single citizen, the insurance companies start gathering money for a minimum period of 10 to 20 years altogether. All the money gets accumulated with them and they start enjoying the interest of the money in the long run. So healthcare sector is predominantly one of the sectors with the insurance that starts making a lot of money. Moment you go into a hospital for any kind of treatments or any kind of services, the bill is very huge. So automatically you have to rely on an insurance and come back and claim on this. Now, what is the impact of this? What is that I'm trying to come and say to you guys? Healthcare is the factor that drains out almost 40% of the nation's income, which means every single individual in his lifetime would have spent 40% of his total income on insurance and on medical altogether. So what happens here in our country is that how much ever you earn or how much ever you tend to expect that you will be earning in the coming years, 40% of the amount without your knowledge will get into the healthcare sector. So for a country like India, the real problem or the real challenge that's going to happen after this COVID is that we need to start finding out plans where you can start getting healthcare or medical facility like any other countries for free. Why? Because it is the duty of the government where they have to start providing plans, or they have to start providing basic health coverage which should be free of cost. Now what happens in India is that moment I use the word free of cost, it doesn't mean that I'm asking the government to give a free lunch to us. What I'm requesting here is that the free of cost is a basic necessity that the government should provide to each and every citizen. It's like a basic coverage pack. Now, for example, all of us are covered under Aadhaar card. All of us, it's mandatory that we have a voter's ID, we have a PAN card. Similarly, we need to have something like a health card which is completely free of charges to any of the hospitals where we walk in. Now, these charges are like the basic ones. I'm not saying that they should give everything and anything for free, but the basic medical treatments that includes like an outpatient treatment and other factors should be free for them. Now, if you start charging on the healthcare factor for a country like India, where still we believe that more than 20% of the people are living below poverty line, automatically what happens, this becomes a very big burden. They are not able to earn, and that even the earnings, what they have, the little bit of amount, if it goes out in terms of saving a person's life, then they will be doomed. So the government's responsibility post this COVID, post this coronavirus is that they start building a healthcare plan. A plan which will cover each and everybody in our country, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, or any other factors for that matter. Now, we have come up with the Atmanirbhar plan, no doubt about it. That's a brilliant step taken by the government of India. But we also need to come up for an Atmanirbhar plan on the healthcare sector exclusively, so that going forward, every single person in India is covered for his health and its issues. Because only a country where you would start seeing that people are healthy, people living conditions are good, there the employment sector will be able to flourish. If you start looking at the aging population, or if you start believing that people in a country are getting succumbed to the diseases or to any kind of factors altogether, automatically the unemployment rate goes up. Why? Because they are not able to attend to their regular job, and finally what happens is that they will not be able to get what they want. So most of the time in India, if you see that the healthcare rate is very, very pathetic. We are not able to get proper healthcare treatment, and even if we go to the government hospitals, that is not being covered. There are not enough facilities for us. So it is mandatory for the government now to take a bold step and start covering every single citizen under a mandatory healthcare policy which is completely free. Now, that free does not mean it is a loss of revenue to the government. The fee or the free charge means here that they are able to make every citizen live a healthy life in India. Because the citizens getting healthier means the employment rate will also go up, the productivity will go up, which will in turn help our country to boost our GDP. Now, if you look at smaller countries like Sweden, Norway, Poland, all these places where the government takes care of their citizen, that means automatically those countries are being able to increase their productivity. With the new age automation coming into picture, the digital transformation coming into picture, healthcare should also be a factor in the economy that should be imbibed very clearly, so that every citizen in our country gets the benefit of it and they live a hale and healthy life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today on this wonderful session. I hope and believe that this session would have made some sense to you. Please do share your reviews. Please do share your ideas with me on my channel, Economics Made Easy. Do subscribe to it. It will be a great enthusiasm, and it will be a great feedback for me in terms of learning from you and sharing knowledge with you. Thank you once again for joining me today. Tomorrow we shall bring up with some more interesting topic. Until then, goodbye, stay tuned, stay blessed. Thank you again.